This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest center cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
Good morning, Power Hour Nation. Third and final hour this morning. We're talking to Cass Ingram for this quick 5-minute segment. And then we have Daniel DeBaun. He's author of the book Radiation Nation. You're going to really like his perspective. He put it totally unique about EMF radiation, among other things that I've ever heard. And so he'll be on shortly in about 6-7 minutes. But we're finishing up with Cass Ingram. We have one caller left, Cass. We have Mary in Michigan. Mary in Michigan, you're live. What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, bless you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it. Yesterday I had a physical, and they told me that I've got a very bad heart murmur. I have been thinking about it since, and I think what I thought was due to indigestion was actually the weakening of the heart. I'm reading Sherry Rogers' book, and it talks about H. pylori being a contributing factor to heart disease. How do you get rid of H. pylori?
You obliterate the H. pylori with the Oregaresp. The Oregaresp and the oil of wild oregano. I'm not speaking for the company. I'm speaking from personal experience in a scientific study I helped conduct. It obliterates it within a month, that combination, the oil and Oregaresp. If you want to jack it up some, you can use the enzyme complex known as Gastronex. You take 3 of those with every meal. You take a couple of Oregaresp 3 times a day. You take about 20 drops of the oil 3 times a day, and you pound it into oblivion. Meanwhile, how well does are you a dead piece of meat in the morning, or are you more active at night, or are you cold sensitive? I mean, what's going on with your thyroid?
Well, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism
at
the age of 50, and I believe I had it for 30 years.
Yeah, see, that's the major cause of the murmur, is the sluggish thyroid. You got to get that nutrition. That lady, our friend Mary was talking before you. Nutrition tests for better health. Get that
okay,
from the
and
Power Hour.
where is that available, Dr. Ingram?
The Power Hour can get it for you. Just place an order there. Meanwhile, your thyroid is kaput.
Let me explain. At the age of, I guess I was about 55 or so. I had a triple bypass. But I had all the mercury taken out of my mouth.
Oh.
And my thyroid started working.
Yeah, I believe
it's not working up to par, I don't think, because I am very sensitive to cold.
You want to
but it is within the fairly normal range.
Okay, but it's still kaput enough that so get some Thyroset, a couple capsules twice a day to support that system. But yeah, I mean, take my tests in my book. Do what I said there, and you should be fine with that.
Okay, and could you finish that email address, please?
droregano@gmail.com.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you hanging in there and taking my call.
No problem at all.
Yes, ma'am, Mary. We're very glad that you got through. Good to hear from you and what's going on with you. Cass, we got about a minute. In conclusion, what would you like to say?
Well, the body gives us every kind of indication of what's going on. We heard from the listeners, for example, could tell by the tone of her voice and how she was trying to formulate thoughts that her thyroid was not functioning. There's a way to figure out what the cause of each condition is. Do nutrition tests for better health. Get into my books. Get the yellow underliner. Study your situation. Get Lyme disease cure, the cannabis cure, the cures in the cupboard, nutrition tests for better health. Find out what's going on with yourself to the best of your ability. And let's get you on a proper supplement program so that you're not wasting your money. The Power Hour has great stuff, North American Urban Spice, that you won't waste your money there. So let's figure out what you need and get you going. That's the bottom line. It's going to take a couple shows to do that. But if you want, we'll do it.
Well, here we go, Cass. It's towards the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. God bless you, my friend.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. ThePowerMall.com. You can get all these, and if you can ask Jay what you need, 877-817-9829.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gusner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
Did you know children are 52 times more likely to suffer from identity theft than adults? Credit alerts will not fix the fallout. Liberty ID does, and here's an exciting offer just for you. Go to LibertyID.com and cover your entire family, your spouse, your children, and your parents for only $129 a year. Use promo code FREE TRIAL, and we'll give you the first 60 days free. That's LibertyID.com, promo code FREE TRIAL. LibertyID.com. LibertyID.com.
Does the current world crisis in North Korea or our domestic crisis right here in America concern you? Well, I know it concerns me. My friends over at Legacy Food Storage have solutions in the event there's the inevitable. What's the inevitable? Civil unrest, a run on your local grocery store. And here's my question to you. If this happens, how do you feed your children? How do you feed your grandchildren? Legacy Food Storage has the solutions. In fact, they can help you implement a simple plan to take care of your needs in the event of the inevitable. By calling them right now, I have authorized them to give you a special 20% discount at checkout by simply using GCN. Call 888-543-7345 or visit them at LegacyFoodStorage.com. That's 888-543-7345 or visiting them at LegacyFoodStorage.com. Make sure you use GCN at checkout for an incredible 20% discount. Don't be a victim. Take control of your life now.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, 8 minutes after the hour. I was glad to have Cass on. If you want to go back in the second hour today, Cass Ingram's been here. Great resource, medical or nutritional practitioner, I should say. He's a DO, and great information. Now we are so pleased to be talking to Daniel DeBaun. He's the author of a new book that I have right here. Very good title. Well, it's kind of ominous title, actually, but good book. Radiation Nation, The Fallout of Modern Technology. Daniel, like I told him last night, I'll always remember his name because we got the same name. Daniel is an internationally recognized and influential expert in EMF radiation, related health issues, shielding, particular focus on the effect and exposure of personal mobile devices, which every day we seem to be getting more and more. His concern regarding this health impact grew from 30 years of engineering experience in the telecommunication industry. So he was kind of an organic thing, and we'll kind of get to that. Daniel DeBaun, welcome to the Power Hour.
Hey, Dan, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you inviting me. I'm excited to share our discussions today with your audience.
Well, very good. I am also. You've never been on before. Why don't you take a little time to introduce yourself a little deeper, how you even got into this subject? I know you were in the telecommunication industry, but what sparked your passion here?
Well, it turns out that I ran the technical laboratories and developed the standards for the industry for many, many, many years. So I had a lot of experience in the testing, the standards side of this industry. Well, 5 years ago or so, we were sitting around. My sons had their laptops in their lap for hours at a time. My wife says to me, I want grandchildren. Now, my wife's not technical, but she was intuitive and said that can't be good for you. And so instantly, going back to my experience, I realized it was a serious emission touching the body, and at very, very close proximity to the sensitive parts of the body. That's not a good thing. So what I did was I said, well, let's go find a product that helps fix that problem for my sons. Well, I couldn't find anything. The problem is fairly complicated, and I didn't see any real products that was complete in protecting the body. So what I did was I built some. I had some Bell Labs experience with some electronics, shielding materials that I was aware of, and I combined that with some other things, and we came out with something that protected my sons. Well, their sons wanted it, their friends, and their friends' wanted it, and all of a sudden I became part of the industry, helping to try to standardize on what this industry is and trying to educate. And that's why I wrote the book with my son.
And the book is Radiation Nation. Why has there been such a, I don't know if hesitancy is the word, but why has there been such a reluctancy to get up to speed that this is a concern?
Well, think of it this way. When I was 12 years old, which is quite a number of years ago, I used to smoke cigarettes. At that time, it was never, ever common knowledge that there was a direct link between a cancer and smoking a cigarette. Yet, 40-some-odd years ago, that was known by the industry. Yet, common knowledge was that it didn't exist. The only time it became really relevant was when they began losing in courts 40 years later. And so that parallel is not unlike what's going on in the electromagnetic radiation space. Think of it this way. In 2005, there were 30% of the industry, 30% of the world used cell phones. Today, 2013, I think it was, 98% now use cell phones. And, of course, all the laptops and tablets are all around our bodies. So if you think about it, it wasn't a big deal 10 years ago. All of a sudden, with all the electronics around us, it's becoming more of a big deal. And the science knows that there are dangers when you have close exposures, but it's not common knowledge yet.
Well, let's talk about some of that knowledge. Let's get some knowledge here from a real expert. EMF. You know, I've heard a lot of different description from it. How would you describe EMF? What is an EMF?
Electromagnetic radiation is a wave in the air. You think of it this way. If you put your finger up and you look at the tip, there is waves of ball waves coming off that finger going wider and wider and wider. That means it's omnidirectional. It goes in all directions, and it is a man-made emission. There is extremely low frequency emissions, which is really low stuff, and there's the stuff that we use to communicate with our cell phones, our tablets, with Wi-Fi. And so a cow in the middle of a field does not generate electromagnetic radiation. It is not in nature. It is what we use in the electronics around us that is producing that stuff. And so your microwave oven, your refrigerator, your stove, your air dryer, your cell phones, all of these things emit some form of electromagnetic radiation.
Now, we've had other experts on talk about EMF dangers, precautions, what have you. I've never heard somebody quite explain it like you did to me last night. Explain some of the recent studies. Explain what is going on and why we should be concerned.
Dan, you were pointing out that there's a bit of a why doesn't everyone know it yet? There has been, when I began looking into this over the last several years, what I noticed was there was a lot of evidence that there was dangers to the exposures, and in fact, it could be serious. There were bio-initiative reports, worldwide scientists getting together, identifying the current status of our understanding of the exposures and the dangers to them. Those have been going on for several years. Most recently, one of the, in my opinion, significantly important event that occurred last year was what the National Toxicity Program. They did an epidemiology study in which they took transmitters from cell phones, and they took their subjects, and they had like 15,000 subjects, and they emitted low levels of radiation to one part of the subject matter, and then to the other part. Their conclusion after they reviewed the evidence was there was a 2% increase of heavy exposures to the part that had extended exposure, and that 2% in the frontal lobe of the brain was tumored, as well as the heart. And so what we found was what we knew all along, which is there is a growing evidence of the potential dangers to the emissions that we expose ourselves to every day. And time again, science is telling us there's some serious stuff going on. And now we're having more and more concrete, unbiased study work that's substantial in volumes, giving us statistical significance of what their findings are. So to me, we're getting to really have a very much better understanding of the impact to the body from these tight exposures.
Well, this is a lot different than I've heard in the past. What you're telling us is there's a concrete study which comes out with irrefutable link between increased cancer risk with exposure to this low-level type EMF over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, Dan, there was also a metadata study about frontal lobe cancers, and what they found was there's been a 2% increase over the last 10 years, sort of tracking the growth of the cell phones and the tablets and everything that we're putting against our bodies. There's a preponderance of evidence in the science community about the impacts to the body. We know we have impacts to the cell. The cells themselves, they get weak. And when you weaken the membrane of a cell, it doesn't talk to the cell next to it, the adjacent cell where there's proteins. It doesn't talk to it. So you don't feel right. When you get exposed, you get more uncomfortable. And the reasons why is because the body is reacting to a toxin, just like it reacts to any other toxin. It says, I don't like that exposure. Well, under the serious cases where it becomes the tumor-like conditions, the membrane is actually penetrated by calcium within the body. That calcium builds up to a nitrate oxide, which ultimately mutates and damages the cell. Just like if you were exposed to an X-ray too long, you have a mutating cell. Go ahead,
let me ask you about the DNA. So I'm sitting here imagining the winding DNA strands, the double helix, the bars in between them, almost like some kind of ladder. So this EMF starts to interfere with at the DNA level, cellular level. Tell me how deep this goes.
Yeah, actually, what happens is it fractures the spiral. It literally damages it. It does DNA damage. Why is that important? Well, think of this. If you have a young girl at 12 years old, and she has a laptop on her lap, and she's using it for hours at a time, we know that signal goes into the womb of the female. Of course, it does hits the male, too. But with a female, at a young age, 12 years old, there's eggs developing. those eggs can evolve, get mutated, damaged with DNA, and some scientists in the electromagnetic radiation field suggest that subtending generations may be impacted.
Wow. Daniel DeBaun, Radiation Nation. We got to go back. We got to go to break. After this 4-minute break, we'll continue. Your questions, go ahead and call in. You're listening to the Power Hour.
Lifetime Graze 100% grass-fed beef has the health benefits you seek. When compared to conventional beef, it offers good fats while virtually eliminating the bad. That's the result of cattle who never eat grain, ever. Rich in antioxidants, including vitamin E, C, beta-carotene, and CLA. No artificial hormones, antibiotics, or other drugs. For all our fresh, non-cooked products with only 100% grass-fed beef, go to MidasResources.com. Use voucher code GCN to get 30% off your order. MidasResources.com or find us on Facebook.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of Longevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Longevity for over 17 years, since before it was Longevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Longevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never, not once, been late. In 17 years, Longevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Longevity.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solarc is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solarc is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solarc beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solarc is energy insurance for your family.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, 24 minutes after the hour. Well, when Tommy Two-Tone was calling Jenny, we didn't have cell phones back then. We were still fascinated with a compact disc with CDs, if you remember that, Daniel. We didn't have cell phones, but now we do.
Standards were sort of being developed. They were designed so the signal wouldn't penetrate the head by 1 inch, and it wouldn't heat up the area around the head by 2 degrees. And it was designed around a model, a 6-foot male model, that occasionally used the phone. I'd like to remind everyone, 35 years ago, none of my friends had a cell phone. It wasn't a big deal because nobody had phones. Fast forward today, that same signal that's been defined by the FCC goes completely through a 6-year-old child's head. Not just 1 inch, but completely through that head. And remember, the thermal increase, what does that mean? 2 degrees is now through the entire brain. Why is that important? Because we're talking about a microwave / radio frequency signal. What does that mean? Your microwave, when you take a piece of meat and you put it in a microwave oven, the water heats up between the cells and they oscillate. So after 1 minute, that meat gets hot and it's cooked. That is a 2.3 gigahertz signal with a lot of energy. Your Wi-Fi, your cell phone, they all work around that 2 gigahertz range. So you are literally taking a microwave signal and you're putting it against your body. And that is impacting not just the heat, but the biological functions of the body. And those long-term biological things we were just talking about before are now being really better understood and defined because the technologies are being better evaluated in the science community.
You're telling me basically a microwave oven, a mini microwave oven, is being put to our head every time we talk on the cell phone to our ear. Yeah. And children are, exponentially more vulnerable because of their developing brain and their thin skull wall. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's literally true, Dan. That's exactly what's going on. And we just don't know what the impact is. Science just doesn't know the impact of that long-term exposure. Because for me, I was an adult before I actually used a cell phone consistently. But your 12-year-old daughter now uses it all the time, and she can't live without it. What's the impact of that over time? We don't really know yet.
Would you, knowing what you know, would you let a small child use a cell phone to their head?
No. I would give them for 30. I would give it to you for 30 seconds and say, go ahead, here, talk to grandma, but no longer. Duration of that exposure is pretty important. So if you're going to be only a little bit exposed, just don't worry about it. If it's going to be for 2 hours, don't let it happen. The duration of that.
Let's talk about some. Duration is important. Let's talk about limiting exposure. So cell phones, you can use headphones on cell phones. You can use speakerphone. I know in your book you talked about a scientific formula. If the cell phone is 1 foot away from you, you get about a quarter of the exposure. If it's 2 foot, you get 1/16, and so forth. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, very simple rules. These are logarithmically dropping physical loads. So if you have a cell phone to your head, 1.6 watts per kilogram, that's the power level, is touching the body. If you take that 1 foot away, 80% is gone. If you bring it 4 foot away, 98% of the potential danger is gone. What does that mean? Simply moving something away from you can actually reduce significantly the potential dangers of that signal.
So it's a very localized. It's a very localized energy. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no. That's exactly what it is. But one thing you need to know: if you have a cell phone on, and you have your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth on as well, these are all transmitters. The standard was created just to protect you from a cellular connection, not all the other transmitters in the cell phone. You really want to, as another precaution.
We're going to break. Let's get that on the other side. Let's get that Wi-Fi, because this, I think, is what's really one of the things that's bothering people. They can't control the Wi-Fi. We'll be back after this 3-minute break.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Time to go for our family walk.
Just let me nap a little longer.
You promised we'd get more active.
I know. How come you're so ready to go?
It's Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where'd you get them?
I ordered them from superberries.com/radio, and right now we can get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait to try them. I'll get the dog.
I'll get the kid.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
33 minutes after the hour. ThePowerMall.com, 877-817-9829. That's where you get all these great products, all these things to help you and support your life. And, of course, Daniel DeBaun, the book, Radiation Nation, get it wherever books are sold, Amazon. He also was the inventor of DefenderShield, all these products to help kind of stop this radiation. We will, next time he's on, we'll get into more of these products and talk about that. And he's a little hesitant to promote. He doesn't like to, he feels that's self-serving, but he doesn't realize it's serving you because you're giving him a solution. But next time is on, we'll get into this more detail. But go ahead and finish your thought about Wi-Fi routers, and then we'll go straight to calls.
Yeah, Wi-Fi routers are around us all the time now, right? And so if you can, simply running an Ethernet to the router switch reduces the exposure to you when using your laptop. You're still connected to the network, but you're not using the wireless component of it. You turn your Wi-Fi transmitters off on your cell phone, tablet, your laptop, and you're You've reduced the exposure. And, in fact, here's a rule of thumb, Dan. When you think about how do you reduce exposure, think about bees in the room. One bee won't kill, 1,000 will. So the trick in reducing exposures to your health and the family's health is simply by turning off transmitters. When you're not using a Wi-Fi at night, turn it off. When you connect through the Ethernet. When you have your phone, move it aside, 12 foot or more away, and you're pretty safe. Don't ever sleep with them next to you. That actually screws around with your melatonin. The process of creating melatonin. Never have a Wi-Fi router in your room. It's got to be outside of that room. You still can use it, but it's not going to be as strong over a long time. So, general rule of thumb, reduce the number of bees in the room, and you're more safe.
Is there, just quickly, just a thought came to me, is there a push to have routers that use a type of wave that is not going to affect people's health, a little more neutral, maybe like a radio wave, like a FM radio wave or something?
Actually, believe it or not, there's some development work going on in two ways. One, they're using where they're making an optical connection. So it's using light, which is not as dangerous to the body, and that's one way. The other way, what they're doing is they're actually controlling the router's transmitters. If the receivers don't see a signal coming to them for a connection, they actually turn the transmitters off. So the router companies, or some, are beginning to think about how they reduce the number of bees in the room by simply turning the transmitters off. So that's all good stuff.
Interesting. Very good. Let's go to our great callers, our great audience. I think you'll love getting to meet them, Daniel. Let's go to Dave in New York. Dave in New York, you're live on the air. What's on your mind this morning, Dave?
Good morning. Something you just
Good morning.
Said, something
Good
you
morning.
just said. Hey, something you just said triggered a bell. The light flickering or whatever, it can transport signals or whatever. Whether you're talking about smart homes and smart meters and your lights communicating with your computer. So that just, when you're talking about, devising lights that will do that, do something, I am not so sure about that part, but I'm glad that you stuck up for your child. It's that type of person that is, one of my heroes, because I've done it myself and it's not easy. And you probably got some blowback by now. I don't know if, anybody's concerned with your technology as far as, how about a Faraday cage of some sort? Does that help anything?
Faraday cages are wonderful. What they do is they short the ground. They take an RF signal and it gets caught in the screen of the Faraday cage and it goes to ground. So you're perfectly protected if you're inside that Faraday cage.
Now, I've heard, pardon me, I'm sorry for butting in, but I've heard that some studies or whatever, the Wi-Fi or whatever, creates Franken babies forever. In other words, the female, like you were talking about, that they could never have a normal child again. Whether it jumbles up the DNA, I'm not sure about that. But
actually, there are some scientists actually are talking about it being a catastrophic event going to happen 100 years from now, because we can't predict what's going to happen. So you're right. We just don't know.
When you have these 5G towers or whatever they have now, I've seen locally where they put up telephone poles that are basically 3 times as tall as the normal ones in a residential neighborhood. Not residential, but like in the city. And people are saying, why are you doing this? And it certainly takes away from the aesthetics and all that. What is with 5G? Are you?
Yeah, I'm very aware of that. I'm going to give you a little detail because this is important stuff. When you have a signal to a cell tower, it goes roughly 3 to 5 miles, and you can have maybe 10 to 15 megabits per second riding across that. That's because the transmitters are transmitting coded signals in a way that allows it to go that kind of distance. When you go to 5G and you leave from 2G, with 2G, you're actually putting a lot of data in one stream. Think of it this way. If you want to fill up a pool, you take a hose and you put it into the pool and it fills up. Well, if you put a second hose to it and fill it, it gets filled up twice as fast. Well, that's what 5G does. They call it MIMO, multi-in, multi-out. So now what they're doing on 5G is putting multiple transmitters into a signal. That transmitter is a digital signal, which means it's like a jackhammer. If you take a piece of steel and you put it on a concrete floor, 10,000 pounds, it won't break it. If you lift it up and down, it breaks it immediately. That's a jackhammer. Well, that's what a digital signal is. Now you're putting multiple digital signals, and you're increasing the speed of the connections from 10 gigahertz to 60 gigahertz. You're tripling the speeds. And by the way, as you pointed out, they're like they were 5 miles before. Now they have to be every other block because those high-speed signals can't transfer those 5 miles anymore. So it is more dangerous, in my opinion, than in past technologies that's being implemented in the field.
Okay, I always like to leave Daniel laughing, but I'm not going to do it today. Around here now, you have to dial your area code first now because there's so many phones or whatever before you dial your thing. And it just happened, the radio station that I call in and act like I'm acting now on it, when I dial that particular number, and I dial the area code first, I can't get through. They tell me to dial the area code again, but I've done it repeatedly. So then I started calling people that I know, and I got through to them okay. So if he has problems with PayPal, there's other problems that are coming about in my world.
Right.
Thank you.
So they put you on a list. Is that what you're saying, Dave? You're on a list? Join the crowd. You're in good company, Dave. Good answers, Daniel. Very good answer. Very complete. Very good. Let's go to Curtis in West Virginia. Curtis, you're on the air.
Oh, thank you, Daniel.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you won't be confused. We'll both answer at the same time for you.
Okay. I can verify what you're talking about. I listened to Joyce many a times. I've called her many a times. I thought the world of her. On 12/12/15, I went to the emergency room because my healthcare practitioner didn't have no answers. I used to lean my head against my phone and talk for sometimes an hour or more.
Mm-hmm.
I developed a rash behind my ear, and my skin would peel off, and I had like a suntan on the side of my neck. A fella came on that date, I believe, or a day after, and talked about the same thing you're talking about. I went to the emergency room. He looked at it and confirmed it was from the phone.
Yep.
Now, my question to you is there anything that would repair the cellular level of the damage? Because I still have, like, needles sticking me in the side of my neck still.
Good question.
And also, I heard that the radiation from these phones can bounce off of your amalgam teeth, your mercury filling. And because of problems I won't go into, you don't have the time to hear, but all my amalgams were pulled out in April, June, and July of that year. But anyhow, I still got that sticking and feeling in the side of my neck, and I sleep with a pillow on the side of my neck at night, kind of eases it up. But anyhow, what would, if anything, I can use that would help the cellular healing of that damage?
Actually, there may be. What we know is that cellular damage can be repaired to some extent. Most of the stuff on the market, I don't believe in. There's no scientific proof that it does what it says it does. But there's a company that did some work with the government on cellular rebuilding that are from exposures, believe it or not. And that's micro daily is what it's called. fairly expensive product, but it actually does repair the cell. So that may work for you. If anybody tells you something else works, don't believe it. But this stuff I actually think does work.
How about alpha-lipoic acid or maybe a TENS unit?
Yeah, the problem with them is that there's a lot of composition of minerals and other things that is pretty unique to these guys. Most of the other things lack what they need. And by the way, that ultimately has the possibility of improving your suppressed immune system. And that's another one of the problems you may be having is under those exposures, your body said, don't give me that stuff anymore. I can't stand that toxin exposure. So that, believe it or not, may also help some of the residuals that you're feeling.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your answer. Hey, Daniel, I need to get back to you one day and leave my phone number.
Okay.
I'll explain later.
Very good.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
By the way, 20% of the population, 20% of the population has the problem you have, where they can't even get close to the electronics because it hurts them too much now. And that's because the body's cell is reacting to the toxins we're being exposed to in our environments.
I've noticed that. I've noticed with this phone, that's why I keep it a couple of feet away and keep the speakerphone on.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Well, okay, thank you,
Daniel. Curtis, very much. Very good question. Hey, Curtis, if you email me your phone number, you can, powerhourdaniel@gmail. Feel free to email me or call Catherine and leave a message for me to call you. 877-817-9829. Thank you, buddy. God bless. Let's go to Lauren in Ohio. Lauren in Ohio, what's on your mind, Lauren?
Yeah, I know you feel like it's self-serving, but I would appreciate it if you would go over the different products that you can use. I'm battling right now with the power company who wants to put these smart meters on the house, and they went ahead and put the one that you have to drive by and shoot the meter. Supposedly it doesn't give anything off, and I didn't realize they had switched it. I've had stabbing, like somebody was stabbing me behind the eye, like what the man said, with needles just behind the right eye.
Yeah.
And is that, I want to know if you've heard of that. And the other thing is fatigue. I mean, my eyes would just water and water. I wanted to go to sleep, just lethargy. I know there's something wrong. I'm telling you what, I'm going to figure out how to get off the grid or do whatever I've got to do. But if you can address that, and also the products that you have. I actually got a cell phone. We keep it in a box. We only have it for emergency, but
it's like under glass, like a fire extinguisher.
Yes,
only break in case of emergency.
That's right. If we need it, we put it on speaker, and we are using it to hook up to a computer to get high speed. And if you could address, I think you sort of addressed that already. It's connected with a line to the computer, and it makes it a Wi-Fi hotspot. I don't understand this stuff, which is why I'm calling to ask. But if you can cover the products that you have, what would you put on a phone? What would you do for a house that they put these meters on? Anything that you have, and, give it to Daniel, have him sell them on the Power Hour. He's got a great audience, and we're active people. We will do something with it. So thanks a lot. I'll just listen offline.
Boy, you had a lot of questions there. Let me try to answer them for you. Your smart meter, is it close to your house, or is it on the garage, or is it close to?
It is right next to the kitchen, 5 feet from the kitchen, and okay.
So that's not a good thing, right? Call Dan and have him follow up on that. I'm actually developing a shielding product for that stuff because they did the same thing to me. They came and they put it on, and by the way, what you described to me are classic electromagnetic hypersensitivity symptoms. They're standard. So what you're feeling is legitimate, and you are electrically hypersensitive. That, by the way, gets worse in time.
Let me just add this. My daughter, she broke out from head to toe, arms, chest, legs, this rash, just this heaving rash, and we were putting her in a clay bath. Every night she'd have to soak in clay, and it would feel better for half an hour, and then it would flare. And now over the last couple of weeks, she's kind of cleared that, but I think it's what you were saying about the body getting used to it, but I don't want them to get used to poison. I want it out.
Exactly. Right, I agree.
Hey, let me. We got to go to break in about a minute. A little over a minute, Daniel. One of the most interesting things I found about your book was this idea of electromagnetic sensitivity. That it's a toxin, just like if you were getting poisoned with arsenic, this electromagnetism becomes a poison to your body. Talk about that and how it gets worse over time.
The World Health Organization categorizes electromagnetic radiation as a potential carcinogenic, category 2B. That is arsenic, by the way. So, and then the guy who participated in the defining that is now calling it category 1. In other words, it truly is considered in his mind a carcinogenic. It is like any exposure to any toxin. Your body reacts in the same way. It doesn't change because it's a different toxin. In fact, almost everyone who's electrically sensitive, they're also chemically sensitive, multiply chemically sensitive. If you smell gas or something, you know you're electrically sensitive, typically. So this is your body telling you got a problem. And in the caller's case, she needs to make sure she shields herself, particularly from close proximity to those signals.
Well, it's kind of like those plug-ins in the wall. You know, those things drive me crazy, and they just send me through the roof. Those plug-ins. We'll be back after this 3-minute break. In conclusion, we got a couple calls left, and any final thoughts from Daniel DeBaun, author of the book Radiation Nation: The Fallout of Modern Technology. Stay tuned.
Are you one of the 15 million men who suffer from an enlarged prostate? If your life revolves around finding the closest bathroom, if you're tired of waking up many times a night to urinate, then you need to know about Prostate Miracle. Prostate Miracle contains beta-cytosterol, which is 3,000 times stronger than salt palmetto. To claim your $10 Patriot discount, go to prostatemiracle.com and enter promo code PATRIOT. Or call 877-965-2140. That's 877-965-2140.
Join me, George Norrie, in Joshua Tree, California, May 19th through the 22nd for the Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, a weekend of in-depth exploration into ancient aliens, human origins, crop circles, UFO sightings, and new evidence of ongoing contact. The conference will feature panels, lectures, films, workshops, and field work with leading experts, including me, Dr. Stephen Greer, Giorgio Tsoukalos, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Graham Hancock, Linda Moulton Howe, Jim Mars, Michael Tellinger, Eric Von Daniken, Doc Wallach, and many, many more of the biggest names in ufology. Joshua Tree Retreat Center offers the perfect place for sightings through the clear desert sky. Last year, hundreds saw several real craft up there, as we reported on Coast to Coast. Tickets to Contact in the Desert are available at contactinthedesert.com. That's contactinthedesert.com, or by calling 323-721-1743. That's 323-721-1743.
The answer to being in control of your own health care is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-963-4946. Even better, call right now and you can get an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-963-4946. 1-800-963-4946. 1-800-963-4946.
Welcome back to Power Hour, 54 minutes after the hour. Final segment with Daniel DeBaun, author of the book Radiation Nation, The Fallout of Modern Technology. This chemical sensitivity is real, but this electromagnetic sensitivity is real also. And his book talks about that. You may want to get it and learn all you can. We got a couple of callers. Let's go to them. We'll have some concluding thoughts from Daniel. Jennifer in Maine. What's your question, please?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a bit nervous.
That's okay. Take your time. Take your thoughts.
I got exposed to high voltage, low frequency radiation back in March of 2015 from an electrical transformer that's located in my apartment. Due to excessive snow and melting snow, water got into the electrical wires. I got 30 years experience in electronics, so I know what I'm talking about. But I'm suffering with EHS at the moment. And then the doctor, I'm with a naturopathic doctor, and we think possibly the DNA strands are broken or damage to the cross-links or mitochondria, all three. I don't know. I have a nerve resonator that I bought online for to keep me grounded because it amplifies the Schumann resonance of the earth. But my EHS is really bad. And it's really it's
EHS. What Jennifer? What is EHS? What is EHS?
Electrical hypersensitivity.
Oh, okay.
Electrical hypersensitivity. Sure. I mean, when I drive in my car, the electrical system from the car just it clobbers me. And, it's throbbing pain. I know this has nothing to do with cell phones or whatever the guy that you have there on the show, but I needed to at least.
Yeah, what you're talking about is exposure to 60-cycle electromagnetic radiation. That was a strong signal. And there's no doubt that's what you're feeling, and you are electric hypersensitive. We had a caller earlier, and I suggested micro daily. That may work for you. I've been very concerned about this exposure and its long-term impact. And nothing I'm comfortable with supporting because most of it is not true and not clinically proven. This has been clinically proven. It actually supports the cell. It rebuilds the cell. It strengthens the membrane. The immune system is no longer suppressed. And the net result is typically you feel better.
Well, I am feeling better because I've been with the doctor getting a pulse electromagnetic therapy.
That works too, by the way. That's low frequency stuff.
I was using Ondomod, but he got a stronger machine from a company called NRG.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
7.83 hertz is the frequency that we use, and I get treatment every 2 weeks. I've been on it since May, but I've been on Ondomod since last July of 2015.
Yes, that does work. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and I am improving. My electrical hypersensitivity isn't as bad when I walk into stores with the fluorescent lights. They don't affect me as much, but the computer bothers me, the electrical system in my car, anywhere around like the stove when I'm, cooking food and stuff. That's really bad. But,
Jennifer, I don't mean to cut you off, but we're coming to the end of the show, and I just thank you so much for sharing your situation and what's worked for you, what haven't. Daniel, we got about a minute left. In conclusion, what would you like to say to Jennifer or to the rest of the audience?
It's very simple. In fact, I heard it in one of your commercials. You said we're not victims. We are not victims. There are actually things we can do. We want to reduce the number of bees in the room. That is, you want to cut things off, turn them off. If you're not using them, push them away from you. Those things all help. Make sure that if you can, you make it a distance far enough away that there's no exposure. And if it's close, the durations are short.